What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Ben Ballion, back with another episode of the Sports Pod. And today I'll give you two top storylines from the NBA this past week, and I'll also predict the knockout stage and championship game of the in-season tournament. Also, if you want to have your sports takes and questions featured on the Sports Pod, leave a voicemail at 848-305-8073. All right, on the other side of the intro, I'll take you around the association. Hit it.
DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Got the wall. He jumps. It's gone. He did it. He did it. Pete Alonso with the most memorable home run of his career.
All right, getting into the action. And let's start with the Orlando Magic because they've been so injury plagued this year. They're down their two top players in Paolo Banchero, who should be coming back in a couple weeks, I believe. But also, they just lost Franz Wagner, who has been carrying the load since Paolo went down. He's out indefinitely with a torn oblique. And if I know one thing about torn obliques, it's that they tend to linger and that they don't go away easy. It feels like always, this is more MLB. I feel like this injury is incredibly common in the MLB, but it takes guys 4 or 6 weeks all the time to come back. It's not an easy injury to get rid of. But despite that, the Magic's young role players, they're scrappy, and they've really kept the Magic afloat, and they've kept them ultra competitive. The Magic are still the 3 seed at 16-9, despite these two guys. Paolo's missed a ton of time. He got injured, I feel like it was like week 3 of the season, maybe, somewhere around there. So he's been out for around a month at this point, if that's correct. I think it is. And the Magic haven't really suffered from it. Young guys like Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony and Anthony Black, they've been so good for the Magic this year. They've really carried them. It's a bunch of players who really want it, and they want it more than other teams. Because if you look at Orlando's schedule, let's see who they've played. Let's see. I'll start Friday, November 1st. I think that's probably around where Paolo went down, because he hasn't had like a game where he's led in scoring since then. So I would assume it's then. Jalen Suggs with 28. These are the leading scorers. Jalen Suggs has a game. Anthony Black has a game. Jalen Suggs has another game. And then all the rest are Franz Wagner. Franz Wagner has been absolutely dominant over these last 2 months, almost 2 months at this point. He's taken a step, and he's shown teams that he can be a legitimate scorer. And if you look at Franz Wagner's contract situation, let's see. He's on a 4-year deal right now. It's worth $22 million. And he'll be this is an estimated, wait, let me find his actual contract. Right now, he's on the last year of his rookie contract. The Magic have used both their club options on him. He's making $7 million this year. He's heading into free agency. And an extension would be $38 million next year, $41 the following year, $44 the year after that, and then $47 and $51 to wrap up the rookie contract. Franz Wagner could get paid, and Paolo Banchero going down might be the best thing for him career-wise, because if he doesn't get paid by the Magic, he's going to get paid by someone else. He's been that good. Karl-Anthony Towns was better when they played, though. That's not discrediting Wagner at all. He's been awesome, and it's going to be tough for the Magic to continue to win down their best 2 players. A team can win with their best player out, but when your top 2 guys are out, that's a whole nother challenge. And I'm going to draw the comparison to the 2022 New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans were a team, they were the number 1 seed until January when Zion Williamson went down. After that, they finished the regular season as the 9 seed. I use the word comparison very loosely. I don't think the Magic are gonna end up in that situation. I think the Magic will continue to be a really good basketball team, and they'll finish like in the playoffs, not in the play-in tournament. But it's like a similar situation. It's showing that the Magic players they care more, and they're better. Like they have better role players. Besides Wagner and Paolo Banchero, the Magic are just comprised of scrappy, young, high-end role players. Like that is the pure definition of a guy like Cole Anthony or Jalen Suggs. Those two guys in particular are scrappy. They're hustle players. They're out hustle you. That's how they win basketball games. They out hustle you. They out grit you. They out grind you. And that's what their formula to success has been recently. And just going back to the comparison with the parallel with the Pelicans. When Zion went down, they finished as the 9th seed. Paolo Banchero went down, and the Magic are continuing to play at an elite level. So it just shows that they're players that they're role players that are top, like that are rotation players, and they make a difference. They care more and they're better. That's what separates the good teams from the great teams. If you could have a full rotation of guys who can collaborate to carry the load if the star player is out, that's how you know you're a top team in the NBA. That's how you know that that you can like really hang with the best guys in the league, the best teams in the league. And I think the Magic are at that level now. Last year was fun in games. The Magic were solid, but this year it's winning time for them. They didn't do much in the offseason, but they've gotta get it going now. They've got to win now. They've got a core, I think, that can bring them to at least the Eastern Conference Finals. I know for any team, the Celtics are going to be a tall task, and I don't think the Magic are ready to beat the Celtics, but they're ready to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think, for sure. All right, let's head out. Let's get to the next story and head out to LA, where the Los Angeles Lakers are struggling, and LeBron James has had a couple subpar performances in a row now. So coming into the year, LeBron said he wanted to play all 82 games this year. He was playing well at the start of the year. Anthony Davis was on his yearly MVP run for like 2 weeks to start the season, and the Lakers were winning a lot of basketball games. Now that 80's cooled off, the Lakers aren't playing as well, and LeBron James isn't performing. I think if this goes on for another 2 weeks, JJ Redick's got to talk to Bron, and he's got to say, listen, I want you out there on the court, but you're interfering with our team's success right now. And my job as head coach is to make sure I'm making the best moves in order for my basketball team to win games. And LeBron James playing every game right now, it's not helping. He needs a day off. He looks a little bit slow out there. He just looked old, and that's that. At the end of the day, that's going to happen. Hitting LeBron now. It's not. And at the end of his era, it's the end of his reign as king of the NBA. But it's the facts, and he's just got to take one like a load management game, maybe once every 2-3 months. Like right now, he could use one game, and then he'll be fine. So I don't know, maybe end of February, beginning of March, like playing 78 games and 82 games. It's pretty similar, and he's gonna get to say like it'll be better for his team. Because if I'm LeBron, would I rather have an 82 games played season, or would I rather go out and compete for another NBA championship? I think it's a no-brainer that you would choose the championship. I think that's like, I don't know, that's just a given. And LeBron's got to see that now, and he's got to make the right choice for his team. Go up to JJ Redick before JJ Redick has to talk to him, that being LeBron. And yeah, he's got to let him know, like, I need a night. I need a game off. I know I said I wanted to play 82 games, but we're not winning, and it'll be better for me to take one game off. I could come back stronger. and finish the season out really well. And not it won't be the only game he misses, I believe. I don't think that's the case at all. But it's more of let me have this one game off and I'll be good until like February, March, like I was saying. All right, now let me get to the Lakers as a whole rather than just LeBron James. As I mentioned before, AD's 2-week MVP run, really like a month and a half MVP run to start the season is up and it's done for. This year he'll play at a really good level. There, his stats right now. If I go to Lakers, I think he's leading the team in points. Yeah, he is. He's averaging 27 points, 11 rebounds, just shy of 2 blocks, and 3 assists. So he's not wrong. He's playing at a really high level, but he's just not that MVP guy like he was when he was averaging like 32 and 13 to start the year. And also like 2.5 blocks. I don't know if it was 2.5 blocks, but he was averaging a ton of blocks a game. But now that that's done, JJ Redick's got to change up his offense a little bit, get the other guys involved, get Austin Reeves involved. Have this like are like married to Jared Vanderbilt, who's injured, but when he comes back, he's got to get involved. Maybe you play Dalton Connect a couple more minutes because he's only playing 11 right now. Rui Hachimura can score a little bit more. Or Dalton Connect's playing 24 minutes. Maybe you could bump that up to maybe 27, 28 minutes a game. He's only averaging 11 points is what I meant. What's D'Lo doing? D'Lo's only averaging 12 a game. I think that could be a bigger number. And same with Austin Reeves is the main guy. I would get and try to get him to 18, 19 points a game. Maybe he pushes himself over that 20 points per night barrier. Or else, like if this Laker team continues to sputter and on the down right now, they're 12 and 11. The Lakers could be a part of the coaching carousel again. They could be involved in hiring another head coach after they've gone through Frank Vogel. They've gone through Darvin Ham. They're on JJ Redick right now. Who knows how long he's going to last? The Lakers have not held a head coach for a long time in quite a while. They've been cycling through head coaches every 2-3 years for the past 4 or 5 years, 5-6 years at this point. And it's not what you want to see as a Laker fan. And it's not what you want to see as a basketball fan, because you want to see the stars perform. And LA is prone to signing stars, but they just haven't been good enough to like, and they haven't played at a level that's high enough to really be considered a legit team in the at their place in the standings right now in the Western Conference. The Lakers are the 10th seed, just a game ahead of the Spurs. They hold the last play-in spot as it stands, but they're a game and a half ahead of the Kings as well. So those 3 teams are going to be battling, and even if you want to expand it to 2 games, the Nuggets are the 9 seed. So those 4 teams are going to be competing for the last 2 play-in spots rather. Stretch if things stand still. I do think the Nuggets can pick it up at any moment. Could slot themselves right into the playoffs. The Clippers are 14 and 10 somehow. I really don't know how that's possible. Paul George is not. Paul George is signed with the Sixers. I don't know what's happening. What I'm saying, Norman Powell's leading the Clips with 23 points tonight. James Harden right behind him at 21. But James Harden also is averaging 8 assists tonight, but he does have 4 turnovers as well. Zubac averaging 14 points to go along with 12 rebounds. They're getting production from all parts of the roster, top to bottom. That's how you could succeed. That's definitely a recipe for success in the NBA. But I don't know if that's sustainable. I could see that. That's the team. Them and the Warriors are the teams I could see falling off a little bit as this year gets further along, and the Nuggets would slide up. And I think the Suns will also be in that boat. They'll slide up a little bit as well. Let me get to my in-season tournament knockout stage predictions. I did the pool play predictions if I look back at that episode, let me see if I come up real quick because I do want to see. I don't know what week that would have been. I think I'm gonna try to do it by memory. I know I had the Knicks coming out of East Group A. I definitely didn't have the Hawks coming out of their group. They came out of the group with the Celtics and the Cavs. I had one of those two teams selected. I think it was probably the Celtics. No, it was definitely the Cavs. I predicted the Cavs to come out of it, but the Hawks beat the Cavs twice. Only once in the in-season tournament, but they've handed the Cavs 2 of their 3 losses. They just own the Cavs, and the Celtics didn't play well in the in-season tournament, and the Hawks did. So they're in it for that group. The Bucks were group. I think I had the Bucks because that was the group with like the Pacers and the Pistons and the Sixers. So I think I did predict them by that, like that, and I definitely didn't have the Magic as the wild card. I had the Celtics, I think. And then if you go to that's the Eastern Conference. I think I had 2 of the 3 groups, which I'll take. And then if you go to the Western Conference, Matt, let me look at so the 1 seed was the Thunder. I don't even remember what group that was in. I might have had them coming out of it. I don't really know. I think I did have the Warriors coming out on top of their group, and then I definitely didn't have the Rockets, but I might have had the Mavericks as the wild card. I don't really remember what I did for the West. I remember. So let's get to my predictions. Top of the bracket, I'll go top of the bracket, bottom East first, and then I'll do the same on the West. Magic and Bucks in Milwaukee. Second time the Bucks have hosted an in-season tournament game in the second season. So they've had one both years. Last year they beat the Knicks in the first round of it. And I'm going to take the Bucks again. They've been playing really good basketball recently, and I think it's going to continue. It's going to take a near perfect game from the Magic, especially without their 2 top guys. I talked ad nauseum about it earlier in the episode. But the Magic are going to have to do all the little things perfectly. They're going to have to do win this game by owning the intangibles. They're going to have to win this game outside of the box score. Who's getting to loose balls? Who's getting like tipped rebounds? Who's corralling those rebounds? Jump balls. Who's drawing fouls? Who's taking charges? All that kind of stuff. Things that change basketball games. Because I think the Magic, even down Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, I think they could play the Bucks tight. I know the Bucks have been on an absolute tear recently, but the Magic have scorers, and I don't know how much they're going to be able to limit Giannis, but I think they can almost shut down Damian Lillard with Jalen Suggs and Anthony Black. I think that's a real possibility. But I do think the Bucks come out on top. I don't think they care much about the in-season tournament, but I think they're just the better basketball team, especially with the Magic down 2 key guys. All right, next matchup, Hawks and Knicks at the Garden. I'm interested to see what the energy is like in the Garden for this game. Is it going to be like another regular season game, or are Knicks fans do they want the cup more? Are they going to bring a semi-playoff atmosphere? Because you can't. It's just not realistic. How they're going to bring that much energy in a regular season game? But from what I'm seeing online, like Knicks fans are invested and they really do want this in-season cup. Now, me personally, I don't want to win it. I think they win this game, but like I would like to win it just because it counts as regular season games. I don't know if the championship counts as a regular season game. The NCAA tournament championship. 67 game. Yeah, so the championship game is the only game that doesn't count towards the regular season record. So I would be okay with the Knicks losing that. That's where I would want them to lose. But if they play that, I want them to win this one, and then I want them to beat the Magic or the Bucks, whoever it may be. I do think it's the Bucks. I would like to win that game, and then if you're playing whoever from the West, I don't care. It's not a regular season game. I don't really even want to get there because then you have to play an extra game. And also, like, I don't want an NBA Cup banner inside the world's most famous. that's just not something I would want. Um, and it also puts like a target on your back the rest of the way. And if you lose in the playoffs, it's like, oh yeah, well, what, you guys won the in-season tournament cup though. You guys are so good for that. I don't want it. But I do think the Knicks win this game. Tibbs has too much pride to lose on purpose, and Josh Hart wants that new watch. He wants that new wrist piece. So he's gonna do everything he can to win this tournament. A quadruple double is incoming from the 6'4" guard, Josh Hart. It'll be, let me see, points, assists, rebounds, points, assists, rebounds. Yeah, he'll get enough blocks. He'll get 10 blocks in one game. But in this one, I need the Knicks to win, because the last time the Knicks played the Hawks, it was early in this season, and the Knicks had an absolutely atrocious loss. It was a 5-point loss, but the Knicks played terrible, and they played brutal basketball down the stretch. So I need them to avenge that loss from earlier in the year and just beat Trae Young. I hate Trae Young. He thinks he's this super villain, and like he lives rent free in Knicks fans' head. He does not. He doesn't own us at all. He's like 6-15 against the Knicks in his career. He's like, oh yeah, go home, guys, go home. Like, yeah, you're nobody. You beat the Knicks in one playoff series, and you've done nothing since. I think the Knicks win this one though. All right, let's get to the Western Conference side of the bracket, and let's start with the Mavs and the Thunder. This game will be in OKC. The Thunder have Isaiah Hartenstein back. He started this season injured. He's playing basketball again, though. And I think that the Thunder are a better basketball team. It doesn't matter that they're down Chet, because they do have iHeart, who's another 7-footer who could play ridiculous defense and get involved with that little shot put floater on offense. I also think the Mavs couldn't care less about this. I think Luka Doncic is like, he's not going to be bothered by some in-season tournament. But if the Mavs are really taking it seriously, if the Mavs really are taking it seriously, the big question is going to be, how much can PJ Washington shut down Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Because I think that will be his assignment, and that'll be the big question. Can he limit SGA and limit his free throw attempts and limit his scoring, like his mid-range prowess and three-point attack as well? If the Mavs want to win, that's going to be the guy they shut down. They're not like shutting down Jalen Williams or Isaiah Hartenstein. Those guys, they don't carry the load enough to make it important that you're shutting them down. Yeah, it'll be a nice boost, but unless you're also score like every guy in your rotation is scoring 15 plus points, you're not going to win a game like that. So I do think the Thunder win, just because the Mavs don't really care, and it's the in-season tournament. Anything can happen. All right, next matchup: Warriors and Rockets. I'm taking a young Rockets squad. Here we go. I like this Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green core, and especially because the Warriors they've been tripping a little bit after they started the season so hot. Buddy Hield has definitely cooled off. He's not playing as well as he was. He was shooting the lights out to start the year. He's not doing that anymore, and I just think the Rockets are better. I don't think they'll do anything in the playoffs. I think they're a 4 seed right now. I think they fall off quite a bit. But in this, I kind of like them. I think they're a good team. They're a good young basketball team, and they could beat the Warriors. I don't think the Warriors have enough defense with pretty much just Brandon Pajemski and Draymond Green as like defensive specialists to really keep up with a high-paced offense that the Rockets run. The Rockets could score the basketball. Jalen Green's athleticism, Alperen Sengun under the hoop. You got, who else is on that team? Azar Thompson can shoot it a little bit. They got some scorers over there. They're going to be good in a couple of years once all their guys develop. And if those guys do end up developing. But I do think they win this matchup. And I also think like Steph Curry isn't going to try as hard as he can. And if Curry's not trying as hard, the Warriors don't have enough at all. All right, now it's time for my finals prediction, my in-season tournament championship game prediction. These are the two teams I think make it: the Rockets and the Bucks. I don't know. I think those are just the best teams for this matchup. I think the Rockets do win it, and here's my thinking behind it. I think the NBA wants like a team that's not going to do much in the playoffs. They might compete a little bit. They might win a series, but a team that's not like a series contender to win the tournament. You saw it last year with the Lakers, but they didn't do anything in the playoffs. That's what I think the team is going to be. I think that's like what the Rockets are. They're that kind of team. And a lot of the young guys on the Rockets, they haven't gotten their contracts yet. I think Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun both have, but all the role players, like literally everybody else besides Jeff Teague, who's played in the NBA forever, hasn't gotten a contract, like a huge their next contract that's like the NBA, like the real NBA money. So they're going to be playing for this $500,000. Like it means something to those guys. And like the Bucks, they're a veteran-led team. They've got Giannis, they've got Dame, they've got what's his name, Bobby Portis. They're all good. They've got a lot of veterans on that team that don't really need the $500,000. So they're not going to play as hard for it. But I do think the Rockets win. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. If you enjoyed, please consider following or subscribing based on the platform you listen on. Also, if you want to have your sports questions and takes featured on the Sports Pod, dial the number 848-305-8073 and leave a voicemail. All right, also make sure you check out all the links in the description below to check out my socials. And most importantly, keep it locked with the Sports Pod.